Hi, I'm Dave Atkinson and welcome to Life on the Straight. This 13th installment in the Epic Remodel series covers the weeks of December 22nd through January 4th of 2020. In this segment, some big changes get underway and plenty of smaller details are addressed. We'll begin with one of the big items, and that would be the new front deck. Amy and I were once a big fan of HGTV remodeling shows, and one show we really liked was The Boise Boys. In one episode, they constructed a sizable back deck using 12-inch by 24-inch porcelain tiles. Unlike traditional wood decking and even newer composite planks, the tiles didn't sag or warp over time, and they would never require painting or staining. Just take a hose or pressure washer to them every so often, and that was that. Our previous house in Kingston had a huge 3-level back deck, made entirely out of wood, and together with a smaller front porch landing, it all made for a lot of maintenance. Pressure washing, applying water seal stain, and replacing rotting planks was a necessary evil, and due to my disability, we both wanted decks that would need minimal maintenance, of which a lot of that would fall upon Amy. I even emailed the Boise Boys' show, and they were great in pointing me to the suppliers that they used for that porcelain deck. Frank understood what we wanted and was in contact with a local concrete tile retailer. They had a similar low-maintenance product that used 12-inch by 24-inch by 1.75-inch concrete pavers from Vancouver Bay. Each paver weighed 45 pounds and was supported by round plastic pylons and a robust support structure. There would be roughly 1/8 inch gaps between the tiles in all directions, allowing sand and dirt to fall through to the ground below. And like the porcelain tiles, they could be pressure washed. They also came in different colors. So Frank was now working on plans for a new front deck using these concrete pavers, but he didn't have the finished plans ready just yet. Frank brought up another detail that would cost us extra money, but he felt strongly that we should do it. When the previous owner installed the sunroom, the soffit vents into the attic on the entire north side of the house were sealed up. In order to keep mold in check, air is supposed to freely circulate in the attic above the insulation, and it is a combination of soffit and gable vents that allow for that airflow to happen. By sealing up the north soffit vents, the air in that part of the attic was stagnant. Frank told us that upon careful inspection there was no sign of mold or mildew in that area, but to do things right, he felt that the roof should be modified with a strip vent that would be located slightly above the sunroom and run the entire east to west length of the roof. We deferred to Frank's judgment and had it done. On Monday, the crew completed the sunroom subfloor re-insulation. It was now at the proper slope for future tile installation that would match up properly with the lower threshold of the new sliding glass doors. The old siding was coming down day by day, as that was the main thrust of this 2-week period. By the end of the first week, about 1/3 of the old siding had been removed. On Friday, a subcontractor who had sold and serviced the type of sunroom that we had was brought in to fabricate a new east wall where the old sliding glass door had been removed. That included a new panel which replaced the one that had the cat door in it. Instead of a slider, the new east wall had a sliding window. This one change would give us more usable space in our sunroom and rear deck, as we could now place furniture right up against the wall, something not practical with a sliding glass door. The plumber was busy as well. The new 50-gallon water heater arrived, and he set about getting it all installed and connected. We worked with our cabinet guy, Jeff, to finalize the details of our big island cabinets. On the back side, which is the north side of the cabinets, there are shelves and doors the entire way down, with one exception. The final door on the west end is permanently sealed off. As you come around the corner, there will now be a small built-in bookcase. It is the same 10.5-inch width as the other shelves and would be a tad over a foot deep. The top shelf of this small bookcase will have access to a power receptacle at the back, and that is also where coax and Cat6 cabling will emerge from the basement. In short, the TV will be hardwired to this top shelf, where a cable modem and possible cable set-top box will sit. Let's revisit our new fireplace wall. We chose not to have a mantle as that would shift our TV higher to an uncomfortable viewing height. But what of the cable box? With our old setup, it had its own remote and you had to point it right at the cable box. With our new setup, there isn't a mantle to hold the cable box. The solution? Point the remote at the kitchen island bookcase instead. As the second short Christmas week began, more siding was removed. They showed us several planks that were in various stages of rot and mold forming within. We were glad that we chose to replace the defective LP siding with new hardy plank siding. Frank showed us some attractive triangular-shaped gable vents that were made out of polyurethane and were also paintable. All of the old gable vents were rectangular and made out of wood. The new vents were pricey, but we told Frank to go with them. He said that there was a gable on the back of the house that nobody would see, and they would go through all of the wooden vents and find the best one to reuse in that single location. It was sometime in this 2-week time frame where Frank came to us with a new rear elevation drawing. For the sake of symmetry and bringing more natural light inside of the house, he felt that a third picture window should go in a hallway leading to the laundry room area. We liked that look and gave him the go-ahead. On New Year's Day, Frank had begun fabricating and installing hose bib blocks out of sheet metal. Now, most of the time you see homes with wooden hose bib blocks, but Frank didn't care for these as they would typically crack and look ugly after a few short years. That wouldn't be a problem with painted metal hose bib blocks, and he gave the dryer vent the same treatment. Amy is the one who waters our gardens that sit up next to the house, and some of that is done using soaker hoses. On the original house, she didn't like the placement of where hose bibs were located. Some were in the wrong place, and there were areas where new ones were needed. That job fell to the plumber who took care of it during this time frame. He also showed us the new hot and cold outdoor fixture, which would be mounted next to the traditional water spigot to the left of the garage door. This second week, the HVAC contractor joined the work party. They installed new ductwork that extended from the attic down through the new chase and into the basement. Then they installed what looked to be a suspended whale high up in the attic area. This was an insulated duct to channel the return cold air from the hall ceiling back to the furnace in the basement. The design called for a second smaller air return duct that would connect the main duct to our master bedroom ceiling. The HVAC crew also removed the old heat pump compressor from out near the back deck. They had new plans showing where the optimal location for the floor vents throughout the house should go and proceeded to saw into the subfloor for future vents. Amy and I worked with them on vent placement as we knew what furniture we had and where it would go, and we didn't want a floor register getting in the way. Meanwhile, down in the basement, the opening between the basement and the new garage crawl space for the laundry area was insulated and sheetrocked to seal it off. The electrician made a visit to install the ventilation fans into both bathroom ceilings. By the end of Friday, the crew had installed 2 of the large picture windows into the laundry room area. The middle window was a last-minute change, so they would have to wait for the 3rd window on this wall to arrive. Most of the siding had been removed, but not all of it yet. That wraps up another 2 very busy weeks of our Epic Remodel project. Thank you for watching Life on the Straight, and please consider subscribing, which is free, to stay abreast of new content. Be sure to like and share as well.